Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 16th of October. So looking at the Eurodollar first, and well, it's in this consolidation phase at the moment. It looked like it was going to break at one stage yesterday, but seems to have slowed up a little bit there. Well, maybe it'll have the break to the upside at some point this morning. It's not... It's a very indecisive move at the moment in terms of what we're seeing here, just really consolidation as I mentioned. One thing there is for sure, well, there's a trend line which it's broken actually. It's just pull this to a 4-hourly chart for a moment. You see I drew the trend line across there where it's walked itself out sidewards of that, so not really too much of a worry, but we are in that sort of wedge pattern at the moment with a upwards start to the move, so it may well push on, continue pushing on. So I'm not going to draw it very well, but there's the wedge pattern, just if you can't visualize it too well. It was in an upward trend at the first time, so it would be expected in normal circumstances that it would continue pushing to the upside. So where are we at the moment? Well, we're just all over today's pivot. If we can start breaking, maybe we'll have to watch this carefully this morning just to see if it gives any clues post 8 o'clock. Maybe a push up towards yesterday's highs, and the daily R1 would be a good start. That 60-minute 500 just above there may put the brakes on a little bit. So at the moment it's erring on the bullish side. Now we have got the weekly pivot untouched below. A break to the downside of this wedge may see that as a target. Okay, the pound dollar. Okay, yesterday we saw the gap close pretty solidly, and we've seen a push up this morning already. We've just seen a push up, and I was trying to work out why we've seen a push up as we have. A bit of a rally, because the only news I read was that taxes would have, the Institute of Financial Studies of think tank have suggested British taxes would need to rise to their highest since just after World War II to sustainably meet Prime Minister May's goal of ending austerity. Now they may have different ways of lending their way out, or borrowing their way out I should say, of such a situation. We'll see, but for now the pound's had a decent shove up this morning. It's sort of slightly different wedge pattern here. It's already on daily pivot, looking like it may be pushing up. I mean, yesterday it seemed to kick to the upside very easily quite a few times. So there is risk with the pound, as I keep on saying, but maybe it's upside risk, so more likely to push up than down. So that's the pound. Dollar yen. Well, dollar yen had finally managed to bounce off that trend line drawn on the bottom there of the previous trend line. Had a bit of a bounce yesterday. Just struggling at the moment into its 4-hourly 21 again. It has tested that a couple of times now. It has got the weekly pivot above, which may draw it at some point. They have a high probability of being hit, but at the moment it maybe at this point it's a bit of a correction, and we'll see a continuation to the downside. It's already hit the daily pivot. R1 takes away some of my daily targets I'd be looking for. Maybe, as I say, to the upside. Well, if it starts breaking through here, we've already broken a shorter term trend line across there. It sort of stepped itself up, and to be fair, it's pushed up. So we'll see how this moves. It could be this is just a bit of a risk back on. People are trading to riskier assets, and it may be we see a bit more of a continuation of that upside then. Okay, Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, well, it's reversing around a bit this morning again. It's air kissed the daily 21 there, and at the moment maybe heading back down towards its weekly pivot. It has put a series of higher highs, not necessarily higher low. Well, a higher low back here, so, or near term higher low, so maybe pushing up from that perspective. Struggled yesterday afternoon there, in the evening there, it just had a pop and it's dropped it back down again at the moment, so not looking its best at this stage. Could, as I say, pull back towards that weekly pivot. Okay, and finally the Canadian dollar. So some sharp old price action yesterday. It's a bit more solid. It's run through its weekly pivot there. It's said on the weekly update it looked like it could have some further downside, and well, it's still. Sorry, I'll come back to that weekly update picture I was looking at with the lower highs and the lower lows that are running through the majority of the way through there, and I just wondered if we're in that trend will continue to the downside. Well, now we've sort of broken that weekly pivot sort of area. It's just a case of are we going to push on down towards that daily 200 sort of area. It's certainly broken that trend line for yesterday, and well, at the moment looks like it could have further downside. Just looking at what's going on here, maybe down towards its yesterday's lows, maybe even down to the daily S1 as it looks at the moment. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. News-wise today, there are some news events. We got 9:30. We've got the employment data for the UK, which quite a key one. Looking at the average earnings, particularly that side. We've got a couple of speakers. The most important one is the FOM speaker at 9:15. Later on, actually, Cunliffe is speaking. PMBC Cunliffe is just due to testify at his parliamentary reappointment hearing. So I'd be surprised if we get much volatility at 2:15, but be aware. Well, that's pretty much it. So actually, the main news there, just the UK jobs report. Have a great one. Bye for now.